Hey artsy friends, welcome to my third composition notebook art journal series. Okay, I'll start with the spiel about if you're new here. This is a composition notebook. Yes, the things that you get for like $1 at the, school supply sale. And I have prepared all of the pages by gluing most of them back to back. And then I prepared this particular art journal with collage. This is my third composition notebook art journal. Sorry, that's a mouthful. So the first one I did a lot of paint as a base layer. The second one I did not prep. And then this one I prepped with collage. So the first thing I'm doing as I start on the second layer after the collage is just kind of smattering it with paint. I really like reflective colors. So the first paint was a color shift, and then the next one, those two were actually some really light pastel-y colors that I got from the dollar store. So I'm just kind of moving paint around the page, like just spreading out different colors to whatever I like. And like I said, I like these metallics, anything that's like shiny, so that when you pick up the journal and kind of move it around and look at it from different angles, you just see some interesting reflections and shininess. But I felt like it needed a lot more color. So I have determined that I really like really bright colors. And as you start art journaling, if you're kind of new to it, it might take you a while to kind of figure out what your style is. And that's totally fine. Like I have so many different pages that have so many different styles, and there's no rules. It's your art, it's your art journal. But it is kind of fun after a while to kind of see a pattern of the pages that you are really excited about when you're finished. Like, ooh, I really love how that turned out. And for me, it's the more colorful pages. I also kind of stumbled on some glow-in-the-dark, well, it's actually glow blacklight paint on the first page that I did in this journal. And so I am going to use some of that glow paint on each spread so that when I'm done with the journal, I'll be able to look through the whole thing under a black light and have elements pop off the page. So that's kind of fun. So like this orange is blacklight paint, and it's very subtle. You don't really see a lot when you're just building up the background, but I know that under the blacklight, it's going to really jump off the page. These are some homemade stamps that I made out of just that really cheap peel and stick foam and a piece of cardboard. So I have a video on that if you want to see how it's done, but that's pretty much all there is to it. And this is just a set of, silicone stamps that I tried to use without a block, and it wasn't really working, but I just kind of moved it around the page, and it didn't stamp really crisp. Okay, so these I just ordered on Amazon, and they're like 3-ounce bottles, and there's a bunch of different needles, and it actually came with one inside, and I was trying to figure out how to use it. Does it go in the bottom? Nope, it just screws on the top. Okay, so I'm going to add some of my black light glow paint, some pink, to the bottom because I want to use it to make really thin, fine lines and do some kind of asemic writing. So this is the first time I've done it, so I'm just experimenting. So I started just writing words, mercy, love, and then I just wrote in between and overlapping with the words because I wasn't necessarily doing a quote or anything. I just wanted to have some big scribbly writing. Okay, I was squeezing pretty hard, and I realized the cap was not screwed on all the way, so it just kind of gushed out the side. And these are pretty cheap bottles, but I'm just using that extra paint and kind of dabbing it around the page. And then I just grabbed something that was in reach, which was a pencil eraser, and I'm using that. I thought maybe I could use it to stamp or something, but didn't really do much. So now I'm just using it to spread the paint around the page. I really take an intuitive approach to art journaling, which just means that I'm not thinking too many steps ahead of myself. I might get an inspiration or an idea halfway through and say, okay, I'm going to do this, 2 or 3 steps down the road. But for the most part, I'm just kind of making it up as I go. Like the fact that I had kind of that gushy paint come out of the bottle and then I used the eraser to move it around the page like that created an element that I wouldn't have otherwise probably done. So if you get an oops or if something doesn't go exactly as planned, just factor it into the fun. I like to periodically pause and kind of look at it from different angles and maybe turn off the light and look at it with my blacklight flashlight and just see kind of how it's progressing. And then I decided I wanted to do circles, and I'm creating kind of a template. So I took an old piece of cardstock that I just had laying around because that's what I use for my underlay. So you see how my table or my surface looks bright white? That's just a piece of poster board. So I had an old scrappy one, and so it's about the same dimensions as my 2-page spread. And I am using these circle cutout tools. This is from Creative Memories that I got 24 years ago or something. So if you know a Creative Memories consultant, I'm sure they probably still make them, or maybe even in some other better version. I don't know. But if you don't have a tool like this, you can always find various size lids or caps or any kind of circle that you can trace around. So what I'm doing is creating like a template that you'll see here in a moment that I'm going to put on top of my page so that I can kind of trace the circles. And I've already determined as well that what I'm going to do is fill in the negative space with black. So it's going to pop out. So this is my Swiss cheese looking template. And I wanted to make sure that they were all varying different sizes of circles because the biggest one is kind of my focal point. And I knew I wanted it over my little Asimic writing there so you can still see the love. So in a way that's kind of going to stand out. But then I'm taking the circles that I had cut out and now I'm using them to trace around. And because I'm going to be painting or filling in the negative space with black, I want to keep the circles fairly close together because I want to maximize all the pretty, shiny paint and things that are going to show through. So I want the circles to be filled in pretty tightly. Now you could just easily skip the first step that I did when I made kind of that template and just cut out different circles or just have different circles that you can trace handy, and then you can just draw them all over the page and not have a template. I don't know. I thought it was important when I started. And then I was like, I didn't really need to do it that way. But it is a little bit easier to fill in, like I'm tracing the inside of that circle. And that way, if, when your marker kind of does a oops, at least when you're doing it on the inside, it's not going to like go off the page. Anyway, I wanted some more smaller ones. So I found a little punch. And so now I have got little ones because I want to, like I said, I want to maximize how much of the background that you're going to see once I start filling in the black paint, which I'm going to do right now with this very cheap brush. It actually came bent and I'm just going to use it anyway because it works. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention before I stop talking is that when I prepared this book, before I glued pages back to back, I also tore out several pages. I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 pages so that it just made it a little more thin, because as you add layers to each of your art journal pages, the whole book just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And the composition notebooks are pretty sturdy because the bindings are really nice and stitched, but that makes it a little bit easier to like close when you're done. Okay, so now I'm going to write my quote around the edge. I want it to kind of like weave in and out of the circles. And this is a quote by Napoleon Hill. It says, "No more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity, than is required to accept misery and poverty." So I am reading his book, Think and Grow Rich, which, okay, don't judge. I'm not actually excited about trying to be filthy rich. I'm just fascinated by the psychology of it. This guy studied like hundreds of multimillionaires to try to find what's the formula. And it's an interesting read. I'll just leave it at that. Oh, and then the second quote is, our only limitations are those we set up in our own minds. I like how the words almost look like they're going through a machine, like it's turning, you know, how it's weaving up and down and around, and I don't know, it's kind of fun. So I'm using a silver metallic marker. These are a metallic set they're acrylic paints, and it's a set that I got from Temu. I know, sorry. I got a bunch of stuff from Temu before it became so controversial. And anyway, that's where I got it. But you can use any kind of metallic markers. I love the way metallics look on black. It just makes it pop. So I'm super happy with it. I love the way it turned out. I love all the reflections, and ooh, it's so cool. And here's what it looks with the black light. Here, I'll turn off the light altogether. Isn't that cool? So you notice that you don't even see the silver, the writing, that disappears. So that doesn't show up in the black light, but all the cool paint in the background does. Feels kind of cosmic. Ooh. So tell me what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed my videos, please like and subscribe. That tells YouTube, you know, to promote me. And then maybe I don't have to go get a job. So in the meantime, go make some art and have a blessed day.